ancient, and when we write them for the Syracuse May Day, we call it a mumming play. So this is a mumming play for Bonnie. It also has some other medieval elements of good life lessons, and I will now let the play begin. The kingdom of Quid was a quiet, special place. The citizens lived in an orderly pace. A ball of yarn, given each person at birth, determined their future. In some sense, their worth. The yarn would unroll as they lived their lives and grew to be parents and husbands and wives. Folks knew when to gather and take leave of friends as their last wisps of yarn finally came to an end. Friends and family would watch while death opened the door. What joy when a newborn arrived with a sphere whose size was a promise of many long years. That kid could drive race cars or go off to war and always come home just as strong as before.
In comes I, King Rickland of Quid. I have a strong ego and quite a fine id. But the jewel of my crown is my dearest Queen Bonnie. There's no other monarch can boast such a honey. When I learned she'd worked as a minesweeper, I knew that Bonnie was a keeper. She's smart, strong, and lovely, a fine mom to our boy. The years of our marriage have brought us both joy. If you'll forgive my saying so, we love without a quid pro quo.
He's the king of Quid, get it?
How lucky I am to have such a wife. I want her beside me the rest of my life.
Dear Rick, we've been lovers for so many years. I'm sad to share news that will bring you to tears. This frightening discovery that I've just made, the moths have gotten into my yarn. It's all frayed. I'm not ready to go.
I don't want you to leave.
I need to sit down. Thank you.
I want to fight back. I'm not ready to grieve. Look, Death is there, lurking outside of our door.
Oh
I won't let him leave with the wife I adore. Perhaps for a start, we can send him away with a trick that will buy us a bit of delay. I'll put out the word that you need lots of fiber. Then join all our friends on a hero quest cyber. We'll look through the ether for research obscure until we can find you a permanent cure.
no. Okay. And while they're researching, then I will work hard and waste not a moment. Not a day will be marred. Next weekend, I'm taking my family caving, then renting a yurt for some girl time misbehaving. If I don't have long, I won't sit around. I'll dance, and I'll bike, and I'll sing the clock round.
The people of Quid loved Bonnie, Queen Bonnie, so dearly, they helped her to fight with her yarn. What her yarn said so clearly, to buy her more life than her fate had designed. They brought their dear queen all the yarn they could find. Their sweaters, their hats, Afghan stockings and coats, they gave her their sheep and their Angora goats. When Death came to visit, he found that the queen had the biggest damn yarn ball he had ever seen.
Have I made a mistake? I came here just for you. In fact, I thought I might be overdue.
No!
But even Methuselah had nothing like this. I'll go check my records. There's something amiss.
Bye! Look, he didn't notice the hodgepodge of fiber. Some thick, and some thin silk, alpaca, and eider. I hope that our trick works to keep him away. For now, let's Thule for a year and a day.
Every day with you is precious and rare. We'll fight death together and beat him, I swear. When he sees he's been fooled, though, I know he'll come back. We need a new plan. I'll develop a hack. To begin with, I'll give you a piece of my yarn. Kingdom of... Oops, sorry.
You got some?
Yeah, no, I got it. I just need to turn the page.
Okay.
Piece of my yarn. It will buy us some more time to keep you from harm.
Okay.
The people soon heard what King Rickland had done. They came to the castle, the old and the young. Each snipped a few yards to give hours, days, or years and spare their dear king and Queen Bonnie from tears. There will be a brief interlude while people add their yarn.
Woohoo! All right, got it.
We have a loose end.
Woo, the end is growing. I can see the end getting farther and farther away. Yay! There we go.
When Death came back to examine her skein, he had to admit he was beaten again.
I don't know what you're doing, but this isn't fair. If I had any left, I would tear out my hair. You and your husband are quite bloody clever, but let me assure you, you won't live forever. And those who are giving you some of their time will find their lives shortened. That's the paradigm.
Oh. I hadn't considered the huge sacrifice my people were making. It's too high a price. My fears for my own life were making me blind. And Rick, my dear husband.
You know I don't mind. Measuring lifespans in yarn is absurd and unfair. But if those are the rules, here's some more I can spare.
No! Perhaps there's a doctor who can make these right? Can someone please help us get out of this plight?
Oh, in comes I. I'm a famous oncologist.
Great!
I'm also a dowser, a magician, and a theologist.
Oh, no.
I carry my instruments wherever I go, and I get in some dentistry when things get slow.
Nice to meet you!
I can cure the itch and the stitch and the gout, pains within and pains without, and if you are close to the end of your rope, I can offer you comfort. Even when there's no hope.
Our problem is death. We're holding him off. We need you to beat him. We're holding him off, but can't seem to defeat him.
Well, you've done better than I could with all your fooling, but we do know how this ends, folks. There's no use in fooling.
Oh, you're wrong, Doc. For fooling is key to our success.
Yeah.
The joy we are sharing makes every day blessed. As long as we're able to love and to laugh, the time we have left is like time and a half. Fooling is a lifestyle. It's not an excuse. It's the only life lesson that has any use.
I've learned from this fight how to savor each hour. I'll suck down the truffles and hail every flower. When my legs are too weak, then I waltz in my heart. I'll embrace all my friends each time that we part. For death will be back, though I hope not today. And at some point, I will let him take me away.
I like your prescription for loving and living and greeting each day as another Thanksgiving. Whether leaping toward heaven or fearfully hurled, every spirit must find its way out of this world. And you who don't yet know the length of your thread, make note of the wisdom in the days ahead to say yes more than no and grab life with both hands, for the future will rarely be what you have planned. It's never actually the end.